For decades, they stood behind the curtains, caring for kings, raising princes, building trust in silence. But today, the spotlight turned. A rare public statement just dropped from the Saudi royal family about one group of people who have quietly shaped their kingdom from within. And no, it's not who you think. Not oil barons, not diplomats, not generals. They were talking about Filipinos. The words they used shocked even the workers themselves, because this wasn't just a thank you. This was a public declaration of trust, of family, of something the world's richest monarchy says it cannot live without. So what exactly did they say, and why is it rewriting decades of history between two nations? Stay with me, because once you hear this, you'll never look at the Filipino spirit the same way again. And if stories like this move you, don't forget to subscribe, because the truth we reveal here doesn't just inform, it honors. For the first time in recent memory, a royal voice didn't just whisper gratitude behind closed doors, it said it loud to the cameras, to the world, and to the Philippines. This wasn't just a thank you, this was a legacy-level moment of recognition, a shockwave that rippled from the dunes of Riyadh all the way to the barangays of Cebu. At a regional development summit, Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, said this:
"The Filipino community has been an integral part of our nation's growth. Their dedication, compassion, and work ethic have touched the lives of our people deeply. We honor their contribution to the kingdom."
Those words, simple as they may seem, landed like lightning, because in Saudi culture, where formality and hierarchy are deeply embedded, a public declaration like that is rare, monumental. For every Filipino who has ever stepped onto that sandy soil, those words meant something. For the caregivers who nursed royalty through illness, for the engineers who built Riyadh's skyline, for the nannies who raised future princes, it was validation, it was history. Meet Maria, a nurse from Cebu. She left her hometown when her son was 2, carrying nothing but a duffel bag and a sense of duty. Her assignment? Caring for the mother of a Saudi royal. As years passed, Maria became more than a nurse. She became the woman's most trusted confidant. When that matriarch eventually passed, the family didn't thank her with a bonus, they honored her as a daughter. And when that royal family heard what the crown prince said on stage, they sent Maria a message: "You are the reason this honor exists." Now, let's bring in the facts. As of 2023, over 725,000 Filipinos live and work in Saudi Arabia. Last year alone, more than 380,000 new Filipino workers were hired, a massive increase from the year before. That makes the Philippines Saudi Arabia's #1 source of foreign workers. And it's not just about numbers, it's about remittances. Over $36 billion, 0 cents, sent back home from overseas Filipino workers in 2023. That's not just money, that's school tuition, medicine, electricity bills, that's survival. So when the Saudi Crown Prince acknowledges that, it sends a message not just to the Philippines but to the world: we see you, we trust you, we value you. Let me ask you this. Has someone in your family ever worked abroad? Your mom, your sister, your kuya in construction? If so, then you already know what this feels like. You know the pain of separation, the heartbreak of missing family milestones, but also the pride, the deep, quiet pride that comes with sacrificing for something bigger than yourself. Drop their name in the comments. Seriously, let's fill this thread with love. This moment belongs to them. Because here's what you might not realize. When Saudi royals need someone they can trust with their children, their secrets, even their lives, they don't call CEOs or foreign executives, they call Filipinos. Not because of resumes, but because of reputation. The kind that's earned, not given. But why now? Why did this statement come in 2025? The answer lies in Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. The kingdom is rapidly transforming, diversifying its economy, building futuristic megacities like Neom, expanding healthcare and tourism. Guess who's already running those hospitals, teaching in those schools, wiring those smart grids? You guessed it, Filipinos. And that public tribute, it's not just a feel-good gesture, it's a strategic acknowledgement. It tells the world these workers are not just welcome here, they're essential to our future. And that has real consequences. Recruitment agencies in the Philippines are now flooded with new Saudi job offers. Labor contracts are being revisited for stronger protections. Negotiations are underway to fast-track skill certifications. This moment sparked a movement. But that's not all. In the next segment, we're diving deep into the one trait that sets Filipinos apart in every corner of the world: malasakit. It's not in the job description, but it's why they're loved, trusted, and remembered. This is the Filipino spirit that money can't buy. So don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss what's coming next. And now I want to hear from you. How did this moment hit you personally? Do you think this recognition from the Saudi royals will lead to real change, or is it just the start of something even bigger? Let's make this comment section a tribute to the sacrifice, the strength, and the soul of every Filipino who's ever dared to chase hope across the sea. In the heart of every Filipino lies a trait so profound, it transcends job descriptions and contractual obligations. It's called malasakit. Malasakit isn't just about doing your job well, it's about pouring your heart into every task, treating others' concerns as your own, and going the extra mile. Not because you have to, but because you care. Take the story of Liza, a Filipina nurse in Riyadh. One evening, during her shift at a local hospital, a young boy was admitted with severe injuries from a car accident. His parents were hours away, stuck in traffic. Liza stayed by his side, holding his hand, whispering words of comfort and ensuring he felt safe. She wasn't assigned to him, but her malasakit wouldn't let her leave him alone. This is the essence of malasakit, a selfless concern for others, treating strangers like family, and offering compassion without expecting anything in return. In Saudi Arabia, where over 725,000 Filipinos work, this trait hasn't gone unnoticed. Employers often share stories of their Filipino staff going above and beyond, not just fulfilling their duties, but becoming integral parts of their households and businesses. A Saudi employer once remarked, "I hired a housekeeper, but I gained a sister. Her dedication, her malasakit, has touched our lives in ways we never imagined." It's this unparalleled commitment that sets Filipinos apart. While others may clock out when their shift ends, Filipinos often stay, ensuring everything is in order, everyone is cared for, and no task is left unfinished. But why is malasakit so ingrained in the Filipino psyche? It stems from a culture that values community, empathy, and shared responsibility. From a young age, Filipinos are taught to look out for one another, to lend a helping hand, and to treat everyone with kindness and respect. This cultural ethos doesn't just benefit employers, it has real-world implications. The Philippines is one of the top sources of migrant workers globally, and their reputation for hard work and compassion makes them highly sought after. However, this also means that Filipinos often face challenges abroad, being away from family, adapting to different cultures, and sometimes facing unfair treatment. Yet, their malasakit remains unwavering. To our viewers, have you experienced or witnessed malasakit in action? Perhaps a Filipino colleague who stayed late to help, or a friend who went out of their way to support you? Share your stories in the comments below. Let's celebrate this beautiful trait together. Stay tuned, because in our next segment, we'll explore how Filipino workers went from servants to family, earning a level of trust that reshaped royal households, redefined loyalty, and built unbreakable bonds across cultures. In the grand halls of Saudi palaces, amidst opulence and tradition, a quiet revolution has taken place. Filipinos, once seen merely as hired help, have woven themselves into the very fabric of royal households, not through power or wealth, but through unwavering dedication and heartfelt compassion. Consider Ate Lina, a Filipina nanny who arrived in Riyadh in the early 90s. Initially employed to care for a newborn prince, her role expanded beyond childcare. She became a confidant, a teacher, a second mother. Decades later, at the prince's wedding, he introduced her not as a nanny, but as the woman who shaped my heart. This transformation from employee to family isn't an isolated tale. It's a narrative echoed in countless Saudi homes. Filipinos have been entrusted with the most intimate aspects of daily life: raising children, caring for the elderly, managing households. Their consistent display of malasakit, a deep-seated sense of empathy and responsibility, has redefined their roles. In 2023, over 725,000 Filipinos were working in Saudi Arabia, many of whom have served the same families for 10, 20, even 30 years. Such longevity isn't just about job security. It's a testament to the bonds formed over shared experiences, mutual respect, and genuine affection. Yet this deep integration isn't without challenges. The kafala system, which ties workers' legal status to their employers, has been criticized for enabling exploitation. While many Filipinos have found loving homes, others have faced hardships. It's a stark reminder of the complexities surrounding migrant labor. Despite these challenges, the Filipino spirit remains resilient. Their ability to find joy amidst adversity, to treat others with kindness regardless of circumstance, has endeared them to many. A Saudi employer once remarked, "I hired a housekeeper, but I gained a sister." To our viewers, have you or someone you know experienced this journey from employee to family? Share your stories in the comments. Let's honor the unsung heroes who, through simple acts of love and dedication, have bridged cultures and touched lives. And if this story resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe for more tales that celebrate the Filipino spirit. Stay tuned, because in our next segment, we'll uncover the quiet excellence of Filipinos in powerful places, how they've risen beyond domestic work to lead in hospitals, aviation, engineering, and even the inner circles of influence across the Middle East. In the heart of Saudi Arabia's bustling cities and expansive deserts, a silent force propels the nation's progress. Filipinos, once predominantly seen in domestic roles, now stand at the forefront of critical sectors: medicine, aviation, engineering, demonstrating not just skill, but unparalleled dedication. Consider Maria Santos, a Filipina surgeon in Riyadh. Her journey began humbly assisting in clinics. Today, she leads a team of specialists in one of the kingdom's top hospitals. Her reputation, built on years of unwavering commitment, countless successful surgeries, and a bedside manner that patients describe as comforting as home. In the skies, Captain Jose Ramirez commands commercial flights, ensuring the safety of hundreds daily. Passengers often express surprise upon hearing his Filipino accent during announcements, followed by admiration for his professionalism and calm demeanor. On the ground, engineers like Engra, Liza de la Cruz oversee massive infrastructure projects. From highways to skyscrapers, her meticulous attention to detail and leadership have earned her accolades and the trust of her peers. These stories aren't anomalies, they're part of a broader narrative. As of 2023, over 725,000 Filipinos reside in Saudi Arabia, with a significant number holding positions of influence and responsibility. Their ascent isn't merely due to technical proficiency, but is deeply rooted in malasakit, a profound sense of empathy and responsibility. Employers often share anecdotes of Filipino staff going beyond their duties. A nurse who stays past her shift to comfort a patient, an engineer who double-checks safety protocols late into the night, a chef who learns local dietary preferences to cater meals with a personal touch. This dedication hasn't gone unnoticed. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 aims to diversify its economy, and Filipinos play a pivotal role in this transformation. Their presence in various sectors underscores a shift from traditional roles to positions of leadership and innovation. Yet challenges persist. Navigating cultural differences, language barriers, and being away from family are daily realities. Despite this, the Filipino spirit remains resilient, driven by a commitment to excellence and a desire to uplift their communities back home. To our viewers, have you or someone you know experienced this journey from humble beginnings to positions of influence abroad? Share your stories in the comments. Let's celebrate the silent achievers who, through dedication and malasakit, have become pillars in foreign land. Stay tuned, because in our next segment, we'll confront the hidden cost of loyalty, revealing the pain, perseverance, and quiet power behind every Filipino who sacrifices comfort for duty in foreign lands. She missed another birthday. Her son turned 10 today, but instead of blowing candles together, Maria watched through a video call, smiling through her tears while sitting on a crate behind the hospital where she works in Riyadh. She clapped, she sang, then she muted herself and cried silently. That's the reality behind the paycheck. That's the cost of loyalty. Every day, thousands of Filipinos like Maria endure that same heartbreak, not for fame, not for glory, but for family, for duty, for survival. We often talk about malasakit, but let's be real. There's another word that defines the OFW experience: sacrifice. And behind that sacrifice, a silent storm of pain, perseverance, and untold power. There are over 725,000 Filipinos working in Saudi Arabia alone. That's not just a stat. It's a migration of dreams, a movement powered by heartbreak, hustle, and hope. Many of them left behind parents, children, even newborns, just to chase a chance at a better life. Let me tell you about Juan. He was an aircraft technician from Pangasinan. At home, he was respected, a skilled worker, a church volunteer, a loving dad. But in the Middle East, he had to start from scratch. His license didn't translate, his English was shaky. Some days, his boss ignored him. Other days, he was ordered to work 14 hours straight in 40-degree heat. But Juan never gave up. Why? Because his daughter back home had asthma and needed medicine they couldn't afford. Every wrench he turned, every insult he swallowed was for her. After 5 years, Juan finally became head of maintenance. His daughter, she's now in college, studying to become a nurse, just like the OFWs she grew up admiring. These are not isolated stories. These are echoes of millions of silent battles being fought across the world. And yes, not every royal was kind. Not every day was safe. There were bosses who yelled, contracts broken, promises ignored, homesick nights where the silence was heavier than sand. But they stayed for love, for dignity, for a shot at something better. Some worked under the kafala system, a labor sponsorship scheme that for years tied workers' visas to their employers, leaving many vulnerable to exploitation. Some couldn't even leave the country without permission. Others faced threats when they asked for their pay. Still, they rose. Filipinos have shown the world what real grit looks like, what real power feels like. Not the power of status, but the power of purpose. Do you know how many OFWs sent remittances home in 2023? Over $36 billion. 0 cents flowed back into the Philippine economy, lifting families, fueling businesses, and even supporting national recovery after the pandemic. That's not just money, that's legacy. But here's the part most people don't see. The emotional tax, the birthdays missed, the anniversaries skipped, the funerals they could only attend through a screen, the quiet moments when all they wanted was a hug from their own child, but instead they had to smile for someone else's. Have you ever had to say goodbye at the airport knowing it might be years before you're together again? If you have, drop your story in the comments. Tell us who you miss. Let's make this space a wall of honor for every sacrifice made in silence. Because this isn't just about survival, it's about soul. A Filipino worker doesn't just clock in, they show up fully, emotionally, completely. That's why many become more than employees. They become family. They're remembered, respected. In some households, they are the emotional core. Let me tell you about Liza, a caregiver from Iloilo. For 15 years, she took care of a paralyzed Saudi grandmother. She wasn't just a nurse, she became the woman's confidant, her companion, her joy. When the old woman passed, Liza was included in the family photos at the funeral. She wasn't behind the camera, she was in the front row, because sometimes blood isn't what makes a family, loyalty does. So yes, the pain is real, but so is the perseverance. And that pain has turned into quiet power. Power to build futures, power to change lives, power to shift the way the world sees Filipino workers, not just as laborers, but as lifelines. To all our kabayans watching right now, this story is yours. If you've ever known a Filipino who changed your life, tag them, say thank you, because the world is finally starting to notice what Filipinos have known all along. Trust isn't given, it's earned. And they've earned it 1,000 times over.